Become a member today.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco. An Odyssey station.
Good morning!
It's time to wake up. It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
Oh, yeah. That's really loud. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The Pregame Show. I am your host, Joe Spadoni. And man, we got a lot to talk about today. An awful lot to talk about today. We got Live Golf, PGA coming together. Yeah, golf is making the show today, ladies and gentlemen. Golf. It's not Tiger related. Well, actually kind of is. But Live Golf, PGA coming together. We got the Giants taking care of business up in Colorado. We got the A's winning a game. You know what that means. Tease it for later. Certain song. Giants win 10-4. A's win 11-2 over the Buccos. They snap a 15-game road losing streak, which is an Oakland franchise record. Congratulations to them. Giants get back to 500. We got Game 3 tonight in Miami, NBA Finals. Heat Nuggets. Who's going to look to take control of that series up 2-1? Tyler Hero out tonight. Potentially a Game 4. We shall see. He's been out with a broken hand. So we're going to see what happens there. We're going to hear from Farhan Zaidi, who had some interesting thoughts on Sirius XM Radio. Have some sound with him. We're going to hear from JJ Redick on why he believes a certain Western Conference team is going to dominate. And spoiler alert, it's not the Golden State Warriors for the next few seasons. And are the two best teams in the finals actually playing? What I mean by that, are these the two best teams in all of basketball? Or are they just the two best teams playing right at the right time? Are they the hot teams? We're going to get into all of that. And the number to join with me in conversation, 888-957-9570. It's an appetizer special. It's a buffet. Whatever you want. That's what we got here this morning on the Pregame Show. 888-957-9570. It's going to be, we got everything. If it's a breakfast buffet, we got the fruit. All right. I'm going to say a little healthy, even though fruit's just full of sugar. Got the omelet bar. Right? You got your sausage. You got your French toast over there. You got everything. And that's what we're going to discuss today right here on the Pregame Show. Good morning. We are up and streaming on Twitch and YouTube. Good morning to all of you joining me on Twitch and YouTube. Good morning to EJ Alguero, Luis Roberson, NorCal Patriot. Shout out from Concord. Let's go. Oh, Alguero coming in with some soccer. And I forgot to mention this. Yes, I did. Potentially some murmurs. The greatest soccer player or football player in the history of the game could be playing here in the States. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Lionel Messi, Inter Miami. We shall see. We shall see. So we'll get into that. As Alguero mentions on the YouTube chat. Good morning, Spadoni. Quick question, since you guys often talk about Liv and the Saudi money. Did you see Karim Benzema is joining the Saudi League for $200 million a year? Yes, the French international player / Real Madrid legend stud Karim Benzema is signing with one of the Saudi clubs for just over $200 million per season, which is outrageous. That's all with endorsements and all this other stuff. It's good money if you can get it. I'll tell you that. And listen, I'm not going to be here this morning talking about my moral high ground and stuff like that. I'm just talking from a consumer perspective, from a radio host that covers sports perspective, and we're going to just dissect the hypocrisy of Jay Monahan. And let's start with that. The PGA commissioner, Jay Monahan. All right. He had some interesting comments, right? When all the live guys started to defect, Greg Norman, who started the whole company, former major winner, Greg Norman, the shark as they call him. Dustin Johnson goes over, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, Phil Mickelson. They start getting all these guys, right? And starts taking a little bite out of the competition of the PGA. The big names, the biggest of the big, not all of them. The John Rahms, the Scotty Schefflers, the Will Zalatorises, they stay behind. But those guys stay behind, and not only do they stay behind, they leave hundreds of millions of dollars behind as well. Will Zalatoris, I think he was offered $130. That's $130 million to go join Live. And he's like, no, you know what? I'm good. It's not worth my sponsorships. I don't know if this league is going to defunct in a few years. I'm going to stay on the PGA because I believe that's what's best for me and my opportunity to golf moving forward. And that's what the PGA commissioner, Jay Monahan, told him. That's what they said. Hey, listen, you stay on this tour. We're not going to go after you with litigations or anything like we're doing with these live guys. All right? You stay on this tour. We'll create an incentive packages. We'll create all this sort of stuff to generate some more revenue for you guys. Okay? So yeah, that $130 million you offered, don't worry about it. We'll work something out down the line. Well, they worked something out all right to the tune of a merger. And here's PGA Commissioner Jay Monahan talking with CBS last year and Jim Nantz, comparing the same live golf tour that he's merging with now. He compares it, to 9/11.
There was a story that was first reported in the New York Post yesterday by Brian Wacker about a 9/11 coalition of families and survivors of the 2001 terrorist attacks. 9/11 Families United sent a letter to the representatives of Phil, Dustin, Bryson, Reed, and others, quote, expressing their outrage towards the golfers for participating in the new league and accusing them of sports washing and betraying the United States, end quote. And that's gotten a lot of steam over the last 24 hours. That story first reported again in the New York Post. How much did you talk to your players about the possible ramifications if they sign on with the new league?
Well, I talked to players. I've talked at a player meeting, and I've talked to a number of players individually for a long period of time. And I think you'd have to be living under a rock to not know that there are significant implications. And as it relates to the families of 9/11, I have two families that are close to me that lost loved ones. And so my heart goes out to them. And I would ask, any player that has left or any player that would ever consider leaving, have you ever had to apologize for being a member of the PGA Tour?
Here's Jay yesterday.
I think today it's a historical day for the PGA Tour and the game of golf. And it's a historical day for the PIF and the DP World Tour. And you're right, there's been a lot of tension in our sport over the last couple of years. But what we're talking about today is coming together to unify the game of golf and to do so under one umbrella. And David, the way that we're doing that is we're creating a for-profit LLC that the PIF is going to invest in alongside the DP World Tour. And together we're going to move forward and we're going to take efforts to grow and expand this great game and to take it to new heights. And so what's happened today, and to your earlier question, is we've recognized that together we can have a far greater impact on this game than we can working apart. And I give Yasser great credit for coming to the table, coming to the discussions with an open heart and an open mind. We did the same, and the game of golf is better for what we've done here today.
In other words, money. Money, 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 and more money. JP, you know what I'm talking about.
Money time! Money time!
That's what it is. Thank you, Jordan. That's what it's always going to be about. It's the money. At the end of the day, you could clutch the pearls. You could do whatever you want. You can compare it to 9/11 and how it affected your family, I guess, Jay, personally, but to hell with those family members, I guess. It's always going to be about the money when it comes to sports.
Money time! Money time!
And they use the term sports washing there. You're going to hear that term used a lot. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's new to you. Sports washing is a term used to describe the practice of individuals, groups, corporations, or governments using sports to improve reputations tarnished by wrongdoing. A form of propaganda, sports washing can be accomplished through hosting sporting events, purchasing, or sponsoring sporting teams, or participating in a given sport. So, what's this all mean? Live Golf, PGA, the merger. What's this all going to mean for the consumer? Well, the overall consumer of the product, I think, is the winner here. Ultimately, you can go with Live as the winner or the Live Tour players, but overall, I'm just glad I get to see Brooks Koepka competing again with Jon Rahm on a week in and week out basis instead of the majors. I'm happy I get to see Dustin Johnson and Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, and who else is out there? Trying to think of another Live Tour guy. Not Ian Poulter. Not going there. Bryson DeChambeau. That's what I'm happy to see. I get to see all the best guys again, all on the same course. And that's fun for me as a consumer of the product. Now, who are the losers in all of this? Well, I mentioned some of them. The Will Zalatoris, the Jordan Spieths, the Jon Rahms, the Tigers, the Rorys, the guys that were offered hundreds of $millions to play on this tour. And with the PGA and Jay Monahan's backing at the time, they felt like it was the right move to not accept those offers, to stay on the PGA. Because I'm sure Moynihan and the PGA was like, yeah, we'll create an incentive package. We'll create all of this. We'll generate a lot of revenue. And you guys will be fine. We'll make up the difference. Don't worry. You worried now? If I'm Will Zalatoris, I'm pissed. If I'm Colin Morikawa, I'm pissed. I had $100 million on the table. Am I going to get that back now? I mean, if I'm Jay Monahan and I'm on the PGA, I'm looking at this guy, and well, now to Live too. How do you not alienate half your league? Why not? You have to pay him something now, right? You have to increase the salaries of some of these guys. What's going to happen there? Just a lot of pissed off half the league at the other half? Like the guys like Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, like, I'm chilling, man. Whatever. I got my $100 million. I cashed out and I'm coming back to earn some more. That was a nice, easy paycheck for me. I'm set for life. I was already, but even more so now. It's just the hypocrisy of Jay Monahan is just something to behold. And for a lot of these players to wake up to an email, by the way, not even a phone call, that this is breaking. It was an email in the morning saying, hey guys, we're merging. We caved in. Sorry you didn't take all that money last year. But it is what it is. Let's go have some fun. Maybe some new rule changes. Maybe we'll have a new name. I'm just thinking about the younger guys on the tour, the Jon Rahms, the Colin Morikawas, that had a chance to really, really cash out, and they're just left scratching their heads. It's unbelievable. And I didn't expect this morning at 5:14 a.m. to be 15 minutes into golf, but this story is just hearing Jay Monahan there. It's outrageous. It is. 888-957-9570. And I'm going to sit here. I'm going to talk about this tour because that's what I do on this show. I cover sports. Golf is one of those sports. We're going to talk about it. I'm not going to not watch it because it's my job, but I understand if there's a segment of you out there, they're like, listen, I don't like what's happening there. I don't like the sports washing that's happening here. And I'm going to choose not to watch. That is your right. I absolutely understand. If you're frustrated with PGA, I'll just say this. If you were hoping the PGA was some moral high ground all along, I think you were fooling yourself. For a sport that prides itself already on, well, it was founded on exclusivity. It's trying to be more and more inclusive as of late. But for the most part, it's a niche sport. It's an exclusive sport. It's an expensive sport. And if you were looking at Jay or any of these guys in the PGA to be the moral high ground here all along, you were fooling yourselves. You were fooling yourselves. 888-957-9570. Any takes you have on Live and PGA joining. 510 on the Comcast Business Text line. Explain what and where Live came from. Well, it's a Saudi Arabia-backed league. A lot of the high rollers that helped form the league are from Saudi Arabia, have lots and lots of money to spend on this, wanted to form their own league, and they wanted a bite of the apple here. They wanted to be able to host these events. They wanted to be able to form their own league and take a chunk out. And they did. And ultimately, I think their goal was successful. They wanted to be partners with the PGA. And initially, when that couldn't happen, they poached some of their players and formed their own league by giving them massive, massive contracts. And it worked out for them. The long plan, and I think Liv probably thought it would take longer than this. Hell, what has it been? Year and a half, couple of years now, 2 years? Whatever it's been nothing. And PGA caved that quickly. It's pretty unbelievable. Greg Norman, I mentioned him, 510. He was a big name and big voice with Live Golf. I don't know what happens with him going forward. He was not mentioned in the letter at all with the PGA and Live when they announced their merger. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Who's going to run this thing? Is Monahan going to step down? Lots and lots of questions still. Are they going to have a 3-round still? Are they going to have a shotgun start? Are they going to have teams? These were some of the aspects that came from Live Golf. And Bonte and Shasky are doing a great job reacting to this on the fly. Joe did a great job breaking it down. Joe Shasky to join me at 5:45 for the crossover. But they were doing a great job of comparing it to some other sports we may have seen. So like the USFL, the now defunct USFL, which came back, but during the 80s, it was a big player in all this. This similar type of thing. You had the 2-point conversion. You had all this other contract disputes. You had these instant replays, challenges, stuff like that. Stuff that the NFL adopted. And was ultimately good for the league as a whole. So, will Live have that same impact on the PGA as the USFL did with the NFL? 888-957-9570 is the number. Good morning to everyone on YouTube. AJV on the YouTube chat. If Rory McIlroy continues to golf, I'll lose all respect for him. Listen, I think Rory kind of shut up about Live Golf a couple months ago because he saw the writing on the wall. A lot of these big shots in the business must have known what was happening. The Tigers, the Rorys. It's the Colin Morikawas, the Will Zalatoris, the lower and the younger guys on the tour still. And when I say lower, I mean Colin Morikawa is a major champion. But young in the respects that they don't have the connections probably as those higher-ups guys. And those higher-up guys probably saw the writing on the wall and just shut up about it. And listen, I'm not going to begrudge Rory for initially sticking to his guns and being like, no, I'm not. The PGA is what made me. I'm going to be loyal to them. I'm going to be loyal to the commissioner because you know what? That's kind of the person I am. I can respect that. At the same time, again, and he trashed a lot of the Live guys for going over there. He trashed it. And you know what? I liked it as a consumer. I liked the back and forth. I liked the S-talk. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was great. I thought it was created this sort of rivalry It was fun. Something we don't usually get to see with golf, which has been notoriously a stale product. Not since Tiger, but before that, and at times since Tiger's, subsequent downfall, it's been stale at times. We've been looking for some spiciness, some rivalries. That's why we loved Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau. That little feud, which was squashed in LIV when they both joined each other. But I'm not going to begrudge Rory McIlroy for playing golf because, one, there's only one golf entity now. What's he going to go do? Be a course professional over at Pebble Beach and just hang out? Be Chubbs Peterson? Shout out Happy Gilmore. Is he going to do that? I don't think so. He's going to go out there and golf. That's what's going to happen now. And after the first few events happen, after the first few majors of the next coming season happen, it's all going to be water under the bridge, I would think. But I'm not going to begrudge Rory McIlroy for going forward. I'm not going to call him a hypocrite. I can't. There's only one golf entity, so if he wants to still golf, he has to suck it up and do it. It's going to swallow a lot of pride, but he's going to do it. All these guys are, because you know why?
Money time! Money time!
It's all about the Benjamins. It's all about the Benjamins. Shout out young Benjamin. Did swimming lessons yesterday. That was nice over at the East Oakland Sports Center over there. That was nice. Baby Nora and him. We did some parents and children little swimming lessons. It was not the first introduction, but it was a little difficult for him. He's 3 years old now, so we did a little bit when he was like 6 or 7 months. That's how old baby Nora is. She's doing it with him. So it's fun. It is funny, though, seeing how they react when you just let go a little bit. Dad, no! It's like, dude, you're on a floaty. What are we doing? Come on. You have a noodle. It's holding you up. It's just really funny. It's just he all of a sudden turns into Leo DiCaprio on the Titanic, just trying to sink down. It's like, come on, dude. You're in 2 feet of water. It's not that difficult. And by the way, I urge everyone, if you have children, anything like that, try to get them involved in swimming as early as possible. Don't have them grow up with a fear of water. It's a life skill. Everyone should know how to swim. Hell, it's never too late to learn. If you're 3 years old, if you're 30 years old, go take some swim lessons. You'll be better for it. Again, talking about Rory McIlroy swallowing his pride. Don't swallow your own pride. And don't be ashamed that you never learned how to swim. You're 30, 40, 50, hell, 60. It's great exercise. Go out there and learn it. There's adult classes. Hell, I think if you join the military and you don't know how to swim, they teach you there. Now, it might be trial by fire in the Navy or the Army, but they'll teach you. They absolutely will. It's a life skill. 888-957-9570. We'll continue to take your calls and texts as it pertains to the LIV Golf and the PGA Tour merger. We're going to get into more of the NBA Finals on the other side, but I did want to get and shift over real quick to this piece of sound because it stumbled across my timeline yesterday and just got me thinking, what could have been? And with a lot of major sports athletes, you think the same. You think of Bo Jackson, what could have been? You think of Sterling Sharp, what could have been? And maybe with this guy potentially, who's having another Tommy John surgery, and Jacob deGrom of the Texas Rangers, who had a emotional presser yesterday when he met with the media.
It's tough, so. But.
All right.
You know, I went through this before and, know what it takes to get back. So that's the goal. Go out there, rehab as the best I can and be around to help, any way I can. We got a special group here. And then I'll be able to be out there and, help them win. It stinks. So this is what we love to do, but, finding this out, coming here wanting to be out here and helping the team, it's a disappointment. So
his first year at the Texas Rangers, and that's Jacob deGrom, formerly the New York Mets, had 8 seasons with them. His first year at the Rangers, and 4-time All-Star, 2-time All-MLB first team, 2-time Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, NL ERA leader 2018, strikeout leader twice. Like, when it's all said and done, he's probably a Hall of Famer. But what could have been with Jacob deGrom, and you just hear it in his voice. And that's why I would never question the fortitude or the mental fortitude or the want of a professional athlete. It's easy for us to be on this microphone and crush the guys when they're hurt and they quote unquote don't want it enough, or they don't want to get out there and give it all to their teammates. Hell, so-and-so was hurt back in the day. They played through it. Pitching's different. It's just a different animal. If you have anything that's going on with that arm, you got to shut it down. And it feels like when we talk about Jacob deGrom more often than not, how many times over the last decade have we heard the term shutting it down? Or he's got to rest. Inflammation, soreness, any of those terms. It's happened a lot throughout his career. And I just leaves me wondering what could have been for him. And he still may be a Hall of Famer. I mean, 2-time Cy Young. I don't know if there's many of those who aren't in the Hall of Fame. And obviously who aren't linked to steroids that aren't in the Hall of Fame. So, man, just that stumbled across my timeline. It got to me. When a guy gets emotional like that, you can see the emotions on his face. You can hear it in his voice right there. It was tough, man. And he's been one of the more fun pitchers to watch. Stuff is nasty when he's on that slider, that hard break he's got. It's devastating. It's sick. And the Texas Rangers are 20 games over 500. Marcus Semien, 25-game hitting streak. Nathan Eovaldi. They already got another Cy Young type guy on that staff. John Gray, Seager, Garcia, Young, all these guys. This is a fun team. Bruce Bochy. And for deGrom not to be a part of it this year, that really stinks. As we go back to the consumer and watching it, just really stinks that he has to have another Tommy John surgery. 888-957-9570. We can discuss more of that on the other side. Comcast Business Text Line. Call 888-957-9570. Twitch and YouTube, we are up and running. Hit me up on there. Download the Odyssey app. Favorite 95.7 The Game as well for all your Warriors, Niners, Giants coverage. And again, you can follow me on Twitter at Spadoni_Joe. This is the pregame show. Joe Spadoni. Come on back. 95.7 The Game.
Since first opening its doors in 1964, Fremont Bank has approached banking with a simple idea in mind. Growth comes one customer at a time. You see, while some institutions might be on the lookout for the next big thing, we like to think that's what you'll be. And when you achieve great things, it leads to success throughout the community. It also allows us to continue our tradition of giving back to the region. It's a strategy that's proven successful for nearly...
know it. I know it. Joe Shasky and I talking a little live golf. He's excited. He's pumped up. We'll talk about that in the crossover next segment. This is the pregame show with Joe Spadoni. 888-957-9570. We've been talking the live golf PGA Tour merger. What's it mean? Bottom line, if you like watching golf, I think you won. You get all the guys playing each other again. You got the Brysons, the DeChambos, the Dustin Johnsons, the Mickelsons playing again with the Tigers, the Rorys, the John Rahms, the Scotty Schefflers. We won as the consumer. Who lost? Oh, be those guys that stayed on the PGA Tour and didn't take that big payday. The Zalatoris, the Morikawas. Hell, Tiger. Was that $800 million or something ridiculous? Now, I think Tiger's a little different endorsement-wise. But now looking back in hindsight, like all the endorsements are going to be fine now because it's all one big entity. So all the endorsements that pulled off a Tiger then, if they had, would probably be coming right back around. So Tiger was already made. Like that's, I didn't even get into that. It's the lower level guys, the Zalatoris, the Morikawas, that I actually kind of feel for. They kind of got duped. That's what it feels like for them. So there's always going to be a winner and loser in every deal. But at the end of the day, it's all about
money time! Money time!
Thank you, JP. Speaking of money, well, speaking of Colorado Rockies, there used to be gold up there. No? Is there gold in those mountains in the Rockies, or is that just here in San Francisco, the gold rush? Anyways, horrible segue. We'll move on. Giants 10, Rockies 4. The youth movement is back in full swing, ladies and gentlemen.
He drives that one to center field. Doyle back at the wall. It is off the wall. And it caroms back toward the infield. Patrick Bailey might have himself a triple. He will. Haniger has scored a big league triple for Patrick Bailey.
Patrick Bailey, ho-hum, Dave Fleming on the call, NBC Sports Bay Area. And I believe that David B. Fleming is going to be on the morning roast today. Got to confirm what time it is. I'll have that for you eventually. But he will be joining the morning roast today. Dave Fleming, get his thoughts on the Giants back at 500 and also on the PGA and live golf. He obviously calls a lot of golf for ESPN. So that is going to be very, very interesting and must listen radio there. Dave Fleming on with the morning roast in the next few hours. Okay. Bailey, 3 hits. Lamont Wade Jr., 3 hits. Tyro Estrada, 3 hits. Jock coming back, getting a hit. It was a hit fest yesterday for the San Francisco Giants. 14 of them, in fact. And that's always a good sign early when you're in Colorado. Getting those hits together, getting those high run totals up. 10 runs for the Giants. Sets a great tone for the road trip back at 500. Cap, your thoughts on Patrick Bailey's at-bats?
I thought he swung the bat well. I thought he managed his at-bats well. I also thought he did a really nice job behind the plate. It's not an easy task at Coors Field getting through a game that could turn into a bullpen game, but we were able to get the majority, the biggest chunk of the game from Sean, which makes it so that everybody's up tomorrow outside of Sean, obviously. So we go into tomorrow and the next day here at Coors Field in good shape with our pen, and a lot of that has to do with Patty's leadership.
Leadership. Hey, we were talking about that a lot yesterday. Young guys having leadership. Wow. What a concept. The young guys actually had leadership, unlike the veterans of the staff. The young guys setting the tone. Estrada. Lamont Wade. Schmidt. Bailey. That's refreshing to see. The young guys taking initiative. But listen, that's what the Giants need right now. I'm not comparing them to the Warriors, not going down that rabbit hole. But the Giants, this team, and if you're a fan, that's what you wanted to see. After striking out in the offseason on the big names, yeah, you better sell me on the future of this team, the young guys of this team. And Farhan, I got to give him credit. He's been able to do that. This rookie's impact on this season has been tremendous. And Farhan Zaidi was actually on Sirius XM MLB radio the other day, and he talked about the rookie's impact this season.
They've brought that youthful energy. I mean, we've all seen it many times through the years. You know, that infusion of young players, especially with a welcoming veteran group. We've got a lot of great character guys on our team who have really helped them with the transition. But, you know, we had a great season in 21. We had a bit of a disappointing season in 22. And, you know, we had a very eventful off season in terms of being in the news. And I think that created a little bit of uncertainty coming into the season about what type of team we would be, what type of atmosphere we would have in the clubhouse. And, you know, the young guys sort of, you know, they have the blissful ignorance. You know, they're just excited to be in the big leagues and they want to help move the ball forward. So, you know, definitely Casey Schmidt coming up has done a wonderful job both offensively and defensively. Pat Bailey, our 2021st round pick, and with Joey Bart injured, has done a great job behind the plate. And, you know, some of the other guys you mentioned, Sable, Ryan Walker in our pen, we've had a few rookies come in and be a big part of getting our season back on track.
Here's more from Farhan talking about how this season stacks up to expectations so far.
Right now, it would sort of give us a passing grade, but maybe not the report card you want to bring home to your parents. You know, we just we got off to a rough start. We were 6-13 out of the gate. You know, we've been banged up, but every team deals with injuries, and I don't think our injuries can be used as an excuse. It just we had some kind of rough games. That, you know, we blew some games late. We were having an issue early in the year with holding on to leads, and our bullpen's been unbelievable since the start of May. So that's really helped right the ship. So, you know, to come from 6-13 to claw back to 500 is step one. But we know that to get to the playoffs where we want to be, we're going to have to create some separation from 500. So that's the next step for us.
That's the next step. Can they start going on a little bit of a run here? Get some breathing room. That would be nice for a team that's felt like they keep clawing all the way back only to fall back down a couple games under 500 here and there. So nice start yesterday, 10-4 win for the San Francisco Giants, who are now 30-30. Another team getting off the schneid. Let's go, A's.
And he wraps it to deep right. Palacios back. What a night for Jace Peterson. 5 for 5. And he closes it out with back-to-back bombs. It's 11-2 Oakland on the night of nights for Jace Peterson.
There it is. I promised. Every A's win during the week. You'll get it. That's all you got to do. The A's snap a 15-game road losing streak in Pittsburgh. 11-2. Jace Peterson, 5 for 5, 2 jacks. Hey, just do that every time. And maybe you'll get back to 500 like the Giants. It'll only take you 37 more wins. But all it takes is that first one. Shout out the A's. I know it's easy to talk about how much they lose and all that sort of stuff. But you know what? On the pregame show, it's good vibes. We'll celebrate the wins on this show. So winning's hard. It's hard in the radio business. It's hard in everyday walk of life. And hell, it's been hard for the Oakland A's on and off the field. We'll see what happens with Vegas. They're supposed to have some sort of special bill session tonight in Vegas regarding the financing for the stadium out there. So we shall see what happens there. But for one night and one night only, for a lot of times this season, the A's got to celebrate. So good for them. We celebrate that here on the pregame show. Joe Shasky is going to join me next for the crossover. 888-957-9570. If you'd like to get involved in the program, the phone lines are open, as well as YouTube and Twitch chats. Those are open. We are up and streaming. Follow us, search for us, Twitch and YouTube. Like, subscribe, and also download that Odyssey app and favorite 95.7 The Game. This is the pregame show. The crossover next with Joe Shasky right here, 95.7 The Game.
Hi, welcome to the IKEA Midsummer Days. We're celebrating with lots of savings.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking for extra chairs to host my pickleball team dinner.
We have lots of offers to help you make the most of summer, including those pickleball dinners.
Oh, terrific.
Plus, buy your tickets for the Swedish Midsummer Buffet on June 23rd in store. Check your local store for more details or go to ikea-usa.com/midsummer. Offer valid 5/30 to 7/4, U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary by store and online. See store on ikea-usa.com for complete terms. Restrictions apply.
Hey, Brad. I thought you had a date tonight.
Hey, Mom. She just left. Using my phone for a Wi-Fi hotspot backfired again.
I keep telling you to get Xfinity. What happened?
Well, everything was great until the movie started buffering. Then she started asking questions like, why are you using bed sheets for curtains? Why is this hamster cage so dirty? Where is your hamster?
Oh, honey, it might be time for real Wi-Fi.
Yeah. In the meantime, can I come use the Wi-Fi at your place?
Sorry, baby. Date night's still on for one of us.
It's time for real home internet. Get fast home internet on the Xfinity 10G network. The future starts now. New customers can get 200 megabit Xfinity internet for just $25 a month for 2 years during our Xfinity 10G network launch celebration, now through June 21st. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply.
Did I tell you about the time I ran into Mac Mall?
Hey, Joe. You ran into him?
So, let me get my headphones on here. I'm a big mess.
As Joe Shasky joins me now for the pregame show with Joe Spadoni. 888-957-9570.
Sometimes the side show, a.k.a. the private show, a.k.a. the stuff we say in between shows, is better than the good stuff.
Oh, it's way better. Get us fired immediately if it leaked on air, but it's great.
High concentrate, just incredible material.
Oh, it's great. If we were on like Sirius, it'd be unbelievable.
I'd be like...
Shout out Farhan. He could have cussed if he wanted to. Could you imagine, real quick, Farhan's idea like saying like a curse word? I can't even imagine it.
No.
Never.
I had a kid running
Billy
down
Bean, yes. Farhan, no.
I had a kid hit a ball the other day. This was, I don't know, maybe it was last week. I don't know, what was yesterday? Was Tuesday?
Yeah, today's Wednesday. We're getting
Sunday.
there.
It was Sunday. So he hits a ball into the gap and goes, toodaloo. And I go, I can't remember the last time I heard anyone say toodaloo.
What is it? Toodaloo, Ken Jeong in The Hangover, or is that Tata mother effers, right? That's what he says.
He's so good in that.
It's so good. So that's really funny. When kids use like old lingo, it's
the best.
really funny for some reason.
The kid was also, he was like, get out of here. And I was like, bro, it didn't even leave the infield. It's just some of the things that they say are hilarious.
Kids are hilarious. You know, it's hilarious.
What's that?
Jay Monahan is hilarious.
This guy.
I was
What a
going back and
fraud.
forth, and you were listening, Joe, and I was just playing the clips. You know, less than a year ago, he was joined by Jim Nance, and PGA Tour Commissioner. For those of you just joining us, Live and PGA merging, Live Golf and PGA, that is. And Jay last year with Jim Nance, like, we sent letters to Koepka and Dustin Johnson, these victims of 9/11. I don't think they'll ever get over this. These guys leaving the sport for going to that organization, where that money comes from, Saudi Arabia, all that sort of stuff. Juxtapose that with what he said yesterday, growing the game. It's just,
it's the one thing I hate?
Hypocrisy in sports is at an all-time. It's all about the money, Joe. At the end of the day, what are we doing?
This is why I hate politicians.
There's money there too.
Frauds.
Yes.
Right? In terms of like human being frauds. Jay Monahan, what a fraud. Okay, first off, let's acknowledge a couple of things. I was listening to people like, I'm not gonna watch. Take a hike. You're gonna watch.
You're gonna watch.
Okay.
The consumer wins in this. Like, if you like watching golf, like
100%.
the consumer's the winner ultimately. Like, I wanted to see Brooks versus John Rahm again. Like, we got to see that on the Masters. Come on, I want to see that every week.
Absolutely. There's a race to the money. Whether we're talking about streaming, like look at the NFL right now, right? The NFL is on NBC, CBS, Fox, ESPN, Amazon, and Apple. Also,
YouTube now.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, think about it. How many platforms is that? How many channels is that? All right, it's a race to the money. Why are they on the streaming platforms? Because there's money there. Newsflash, America. Newsflash, world. The Saudis have endless money, and they want you to invest not only in their country, they want you to see them as viable investors into your company. Why? Because they want to make more money. Okay?
Yep.
And so they're investing in sports across the board. You want to call it sports washing? Fine. You know what it is? It's them saying, we can be investors and you can invest in us as well. They're trying to be businessmen. Now, look, they've done heinous things. We know what they've done to journalists, blah, 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 blah. We make concessions in our life. This is the way I view it. Everyone's entitled to view it how they want. We make concessions in our life at every single turn. This company, Chick-fil-A believes in X, Y, and Z. In-N-Out believes in X, Y, and Z. Apple is made in China. I'm wearing Nikes, and that's made in a sweatshop. Like, okay, so you could live your life by trying to navigate where your moralities are, or you could just take a step back and do what I do and just say, you know what? There are some things that I consume that I don't even know where they come from. And quite frankly, I don't have the bandwidth to care.
Well, and also, like, the real losers in all of this are the young guys in this, because they were because that was what they were kind of like sold on, right? It wasn't so much like, hey, you know what? You guys are sticking here. You're sticking with us. You know what? Yeah. We'll take care of you down the line. We'll create all the incentives. We'll create so-and-sos for you guys to earn more opportunities to make a lot more money. And now you get an email. I'm Colin Morikawa. I'm Will Zalatoris. My career might never be the same after injuries. Like, you're telling me that we're merging with these guys when they were the devil less than a year ago, but now he's allowed to join and come back into heaven. Like, what is this, Jay? Like, what are you trying to sell me on? And by the way, Jay, now that you're merging, you're just going to step down and join the board or whatever. You just get escape all criticism.
Insane.
I would be so pissed if I'm the Colin Morikawas or Will Zalatoris.
Let's put it this way, okay? You own no, you don't even own the restaurant. You are the restaurant manager, and the restaurant is owned essentially, okay, by the employees. That's what the PGA Tour is. Unlike all the other leagues that are owned by owners, and then they come together and they collaborate to create the league.
It's a player-driven sport in this one.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So you're the manager of an employee-owned restaurant, Joey, and you lose half your workforce. To me, I'm opening a restaurant across the street, and I'm paying all these guys to be gals,
overpaying them, yes,
to be waiters, bartenders, etc. And all the people that stayed loyal to you are making the same amount of money, essentially, that they were making before. And they're seeing all of the guys that are their peers come over to work for me. And then you and me conspire after everyone stays loyal to you and doesn't take the money. You and I conspire, all right? We merge, and all these people who took the money are still going to get their money. And you, Joey, the spineless guy who said, stick with me, now you get a parachute payout from me, and we combine our restaurants, and all the people that stuck with you make the same amount, and all the people that came with me are coming back to that restaurant, and they're getting the double, triple, quadruple the payments. Jay's got to go. If I'm one of the people working for him, Rory McIlroy, whoever, dude, I am boycotting because I'm not on contract. I'm basically a mercenary. I am like, I will come play for your tour, but not with Jay Monahan on the board.
No, absolutely. Well, and that's the thing. Like, they're kind of screwed now, too. Like, if you're Morikawa, McIlroy, all these guys, Scheffler's, John Rahm's, like, I have to play here. This is the only league now. Like, there's no one else to defect to. So, like, if I stop playing, then I'm going to stop making money. Like, even if I try to boycott, all these dudes are coming back who already got paid, and they'll just carry the torch moving forward. The Koepkas, the Dustin Johnsons, hell, the Ian Poulter. I'm seeing him on his name. I was like, how did he even get paid from this league? It's just everyone got paid from the league. It's just unbelievable how much they poached from this league. And less than, 2 years? They've already merged? I can't believe it's taken this quickly, Joe.
You know what it is? Because the PGA Tour, the way it was existing, was losing revenue. Sponsors didn't want to pay all the money to put their name on the top of a tournament with half of the people that are going to drive the audience to go see it.
Not even half now. It's like a third, because you think about most things you watch every week. It's like, at the end of the day, I'm not really watching. Like, maybe there's a Brooks and a Bryson.
You know what the death knell was? When Nike came out and said, we might buy a team and live.
There you go. Once Nike gets involved, it's over.
Once Nike jumps in, then
that's the
Adidas
ultimate
is in. Titleist is in. Every company is in. Coca-Cola would be in right after that. And everyone can have their moralities and say, I wouldn't do this. If you don't think Saudi money is coming to basketball, baseball, the NFL, we are looking to get money everywhere. The NBA had a whole China thing a couple of years ago that most people who make their money on the NBA, us, we're all like, everybody, look the other way. We need the China money. We need the NBA to keep pumping. We do. We just do. You know why? Because money makes the world go around.
It does. And it's unfortunate that's the way, but that's just how it's been, and that's how it's always going to be.
Absolutely.
It's a capitalist society here where we live, and that's just what it's going to be, because that's all we know. That's at the end of the day, that's all we know. And listen, as we take a step back and going forward, ultimately, I said, it's for the consumer, it's a win. Are they going to take anything from Live?
Team aspect.
Team aspect is that?
I think it's 100%.
Because it's probably going to be one or two things.
They need to tweak it though. They need to tweak it. To me, there's got to be.
It starts with the team names, which are god awful. Some of the worst names I've ever heard in my life.
Whether it's NBA and NFL, MLB, what's the number one thing that gets traction on the internet?
Rivalries?
Transactions.
Oh, that's true.
Transactions.
Okay. I was thinking of rivalries.
No, rivalries are good. Yeah. Rivalries are good. And I think when you have a team element and you have personalities playing together, yes, you will create rivalries naturally and organically. Once you, if Nike has a team, it's Rory, it's Brooks, it's guys that are Nike guys. You're going to be invested, especially if you're a Nike guy. If there's a Coca-Cola team or a Budweiser team or whatever, you're going to be invested. But more than anything, I want transactions. Hey, me and this guy don't get along anymore. He's off my team. What has made the Warrior season so dramatic?
Yeah, no, it's the little intricacies between the teammates. Like, and it's interesting. What's that show you're watching Netflix? Because I have a feeling they're going to cover this whole dynamic. What's that show on Netflix?
Oh, well, it's not Drive to Survive, but it's the equivalent of it. Oh God, what is it called?
It's all right. I'm putting you on the spot here, but this is going to be fascinating. Whatever that Netflix show is that covers the lives of the PGA players.
It's already been filmed, and so
are they doing another season? Is what I'm asking.
It would have to be another season.
I think they are.
Full swing.
Full swing. Like if they're doing another season of this. Fascinating development.
Well, I love the money of sports.
Some people don't.
Some people don't. I find it fascinating because a guy told me when I first got into sales, and he said, find out what gets you paid. Why do you make what you make? How can you make more? All of those things. And I think that all these leagues are kind of reimagining how they can get paid. As we talk about this, there's crossover. The A's.
Yeah.
There are Major League Baseball teams that want a relocation fee of $2 billion.
Yeah.
Or an expansion fee of $2 billion, from whoever would take over the Las Vegas market. And if you divide that pie up, is there any incentive for the Houston Astros to be like, yeah, A's, go from Oakland to Las Vegas?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. Like, they would much rather just have an expansion team by itself, right, than the A's moving there, because then all the other owners get a piece of that pie.
Exactly.
So they're looking at John Fisher, and by the way, this is turning into a total cluster F, whatever's going down in Nevada. They're like the whole state, by the way, doesn't even know what they're doing with the budget. It's just a total S show and bleep show. I was listening to your boy David Sampson. He was making some great points.
He's good though, isn't he?
No, he's very interesting. He's like, dude, John Fisher doesn't even know what he's doing with this.
No clue.
It's so bad. This is going to end up in flames, and good. You know what? Let it burn, because that guy deserves to get forced out.
Here's the
I don't know if
problem.
he's going to get forced out, but you know what? Anything that makes him look bad, I'm in on.
Well, I hear you, but here's where I would caution A's fans. God, if they sold to someone who wants to relocate the team, no matter, like, that would be a problem. Because someone with better wherewithal probably could get a deal done.
But you know
somewhere.
what? If that happens, it's so be it. What I've seen that man do to this franchise for the long, like I can at least come to terms with the fact that he sold to someone. It's like, you know what? I think we're going to move in another direction. I can at least come to terms with that fact. It's just John Fisher and his inability to see what he has here in this market. It really bad. We're up against it.
Well, it's self-sabotaging.
It's just exactly that's what it is. It feels like it's a self-sabotage. And by the way, the guy doesn't know what he's doing with business.
I watched the A's yesterday. 9-2.
They're fun, right?
Dude, the Pirates uniforms. I know I say this
it's
every
a great
day.
jersey matchup. Both of those teams. It's just so fun.
By the way, third baseman is wearing a webbed glove that doesn't have any holes in it. He might be the only guy in the league that's doing that. He's basically looks like he's wearing a pitcher's glove.
The A's or the A's?
The A's guy, 26, playing third base.
Sure, it's someone.
Bribes. I don't know.
Sure, it's someone. I'll tell you. I don't know who it is. Think I watch A's games this year, Joe? I don't have time for that.
I've watched more A's games in the last 2 days because they happen to be on when I flip in the channel.
Right before the Giants games, right? So it's like, I get a little double dip here. I actually like when that happens. That's Joe Shasky.
I love that Pirate Stadium.
He's coming up next. Oh, PNC Park. I want to visit. So sick. It's right.
It presents beautifully on TV.
It does. It's that and Oracle Park, probably the two best in the league. Joe Shasky, Bonte Hill next. Dave Fleming to talk Live and Giants on 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco. An Odyssey station.
Alameda County Fair is back in Pleasanton, June 16th through July 9th. Experience delicious fair food favorites like corn dogs, turkey legs.